Since the launch of reform and opening some 30 years ago, China has kept an average GDP growth of 10% annually. While enjoying fast economic progress, the Chinese government has given even higher priority to social administration and development. As a major contributor, civil administration has been a focal point for the central government and local authorities. It has also held the attention of urban and rural residents. As the term suggests, civil administration serves the interests of the people. It is a government's oldest and most fundamental administrative function. This open-ended area of work ensures individual rights and provides the foundation for social harmony and development. Serving the people is the fundamental eternal mission. In the modern era, these efforts are manifested through improvement of well-being, promotion of local democracy, and provision of better social services. Well-being is the top priority. It is where civil administration begins and manifests itself. Over the past decade, disadvantaged citizens have been enjoying a secured life with rights and interests duly protected. Civil administration ensures basic social well-being and is increasingly supportive of national defense and military service. Caring for the disadvantaged and ensuring access to basic necessities is a high priority for a responsible government. Yang Shuqin of Shenyang City, Liaoning Province, has a daughter with cerebral palsy.
就他总生病嘛，他出生以后，完事就总有病，有病就得请假住院呢。完事没有几年，单位效益也不好了，完我就属于是下岗了。像咱家这不是低保吗？咱家孩子就可以就是拿那个奖学金嘛。完事那个我东北大学这个我还有一个贷款，就是那个他也是就是针对那个低保户的，没有利息的那种。
At the beginning of the 21st century, China started to restructure state-owned enterprises. Yang Shuqin was one of the 20 million plus urban residents who were laid off or had their income reduced. In rural areas, 23.65 million people are living with a per capita annual net income of less than 683 RMB. Another 40.6 million with between 684 and 944 RMB. Among them, 36 million have requested long-term livelihood aid. Were relieved to solve people's concerns. The urban subsistence allowance system was piloted in Shanghai in the early 1990s and introduced nationwide in 1999. A rural version began in 2004 and was piloted in Beijing, Tianjin, and Shanghai, as well as Zhejiang and Guangdong provinces. By 2007, the eligible rural population had been covered. An innovative social assistance system had taken shape as the final stage of Social Security, building on subsistence programs. It is complemented by targeted and interim aid in collaboration with charitable efforts. Taking into account the national conditions, this system represents a radical institutional solution to livelihood problems. From 2001 to 2011, the Chinese government reported a 28.6-fold increase in investment in urban and rural subsistence allowance programs. The number of these programs' beneficiaries grew 4 times larger than the original 14.7 million. The proportion of these beneficiaries of the total Chinese population rose to 5.6% in 2011, covering almost every eligible applicant.
在我们救助的群体中， 有相当一批人已经通过我们的救助，这个实现了脱贫。比如说，身体患有疾病的，经过我们的帮助，疾病得到了有效救治，重新获得了劳动能力，使家庭经济收入得到改善。看到这些群众真正脱贫的时候，我们那个时候感觉到我们的工作没白做，我们真正为群众做了一点实事，一点好事。
To improve access to medical services for the disadvantaged, in 2003, civil affairs authorities introduced a nationwide medical aid system. By the end of 2009, the system had been extended to all county-level regions across the country. Investments have been notably increasing. The central government's input rose to 13 billion RMB in 2011, 42 times larger than 2003. In 2011, 20.61 million people received medical aid from the government, indicating a four-fold increase over 2005. Disadvantaged residents are more equally treated in receiving social aid. Rather than charitable donations, the idea of social aid is now recognized as a civil right and part of the government's responsibility. In China's social aid system, homeless children and urban vagrants comprise important demographics. In 2003, regulations offering aid to urban vagrants was introduced to replace the approach of custody and banishment. The replacement of compulsory treatment with more caring aid is a major development in China's democracy and rule of law, as well as being a major reform of the social aid system. This mentally ill teenager was found on the street a few days ago. He did not know his own name, his parents' name, or where he lived. To help him find his home, aid workers decided to take him to a local police station.
那叫滑小腿，滑小棒啊，滑小棒，滑小棒啊。
还是吧？你家是什么地方啊？
你是新开的吧？
我不是。沙福，沙竹叫沙福。
Aid workers published a notice in a local newspaper and finally found his family. As of 2011, there were almost 2,000 social aid institutions in China. From August 1st, 2003 to the end of 2011, 12.9 million homeless individuals were aided across China. This aid work has enabled many of them to rise above survival and become contributing members of society. As stated in China's constitution, citizens of the People's Republic of China have the right to assistance from the state and society when they are old, ill, or disabled. Social insurance, social relief, and medical and health services are required. The state and society must help make arrangements for the work, livelihood, and education of these needy people. Over the past decade, China has made remarkable accomplishments in social welfare. Meanwhile, the system is moving away from filling in existing deficiencies toward greater universal coverage. Dalian Social Welfare Institute of Liaoning Province takes in disabled homeless children and helps them with rehabilitation and special education. They also extend services to other children with disabilities in the city, assisting in disease prevention and psychiatric counseling. The institute meets the international standards of a rehabilitation center and benefits all children in need of help.
都在徘徊孤单中坚强，每一次，就算很受伤也不闪 的翅膀，带我飞过绝望。
China has a large population, a huge portion of which is increasingly aging. By the end of 2011, 185 million were aged over 60. The figure is expected to exceed 200 million by 2013. China is facing a serious problem. It is graying while still in development. Since 2002, the government has formulated a strategic planning framework to address this problem. A range of systems have been created to provide them with comprehensive financial support, healthcare, nursing and housing, and management of elderly communities. By the end of 2011, pension schemes had been completely established in 15 provinces, elderly care subsidy system created in 14 provinces, and pilot projects for integrated elderly care established in 12 provinces. Elderly nursing institutions total 43,000, with more than 3.6 million beds available. The number of beds per 1,000 elderly people has increased from 8 to 19.7. An integrated elderly care system based on in-home nursing has been established. Supported by professional nursing institutions, the elderly care system provides daily life assistance, housekeeping, rehabilitation, and healthcare services for elderly people living alone, with low income, or with disabilities. In China, elderly people enjoy visiting parks almost on a daily basis. They sing songs and make friends with other people with similar interests.
我们进步指数很高，为什么？就是大家感到放心、开心。那么我们作为老年人来讲，安度晚年实际上是一个主题，而且是永远的主题。
Caring and supporting all elderly people and children is a Chinese tradition, and this legacy of warmth and love should be passed down. While helping disadvantaged groups out of poverty, the government has also endeavored to tackle natural disasters, which keep plaguing the country's vast land. China is among the countries that see the most natural disasters. Over the past decade, China has been hit by a series of natural calamities, including the 2008 earthquake in Sichuan province and the 2010 mudslides in Gansu province. The earthquake that hit Wenchuan County, Sichuan province in May 2008 was particularly damaging. The 8.0 Richter scale quake affected more than 46.2 million people in Sichuan, Gansu, Shanxi, and 7 other provinces, causing severe damage. There were challenges in economic recovery and restoration of social order. But who would protect the numerous homeless victims crying for help in the ruins? Who would comfort these broken hearts? In China, disaster relief is one of the duties of civil affairs authorities. When a disaster occurs, they will rush there with immediate action, assess the damage, provide relief supplies, and identify and properly handle the dead. They will also be responsible for providing logistics support for the Army, processing and handling domestic and international donations and relief supplies, organizing and coordinating rescue volunteers, and providing shelter and necessities for the survivors. Civil Affairs Departments undertakes the heaviest duties and works the hardest in disaster rescue and relief. With strong commitment, dedication, and persistence, civil affairs workers contributed greatly to the rescue mission and were able to help numerous victims in the affected areas. After the emergency relief stage, they immediately worked on a variety of large-scale post-disaster reconstruction projects. By the end of 2011, 1.91 million farmhouses had been rebuilt, and 2.92 million repaired and reinforced in quake-affected areas. Those displaced by the earthquake have moved into their new homes. Since 2006, the governments at all levels have allocated 135 billion RMB in natural disaster relief funds. 20 million damaged homes have been reconstructed, and 91 million people have been provided with emergency relocation assistance. Drawing on its past experience, China has established a national system for effective management of natural disasters, with the central government functioning as the core player coordinating departmental responsibilities while local authorities carry out major duties. A nationwide relief supply network was created to enable more efficient delivery of assistance. Specialized departments have been set up at all government levels to direct and coordinate disaster control. An integrated response system has taken shape, focusing on disaster preparedness, emergency relief, and rehabilitation. In China, military personnel are entitled to preferential allowances. Heroic sacrifice is honored, reflecting the respect of the state and government. This is an important part of civil administration and significantly supports national defense and military development. In 2004, a mechanism was established nationwide for the increase of preferential allowances based on economic growth. Since then, the Ministry of Civil Affairs, in coordination with the Ministry of Finance, has raised the minimum allowance 6 times for disabled veterans and 3 times for soldiers living in rural areas. The total amount of such allowances has skyrocketed to the current 29.5 billion RMB. More individuals are eligible for the National Regular Allowances schemes, and the total number has increased to nearly 10 million, covering all veterans living in rural regions or unemployed in urban areas. Since the regulations on resettlement of military veterans was introduced in 2011, a new program has been launched to support reemployment of veterans. Vocational education and skills training courses are provided to prepare them for the competitive employment market. By 2010, the renovation of 133 national hero memorial cemeteries and monuments had been substantially completed to pay tribute to those who sacrificed their lives for the nation. The project was funded with 500 million RMB from the central government and 180 million RMB from local governments. Another state-funded project was started in 2011 to renovate 800,000 hero burial grounds and memorials scattered inside and outside China. With improved civil administration, the government and the people have been continuously promoting democratic progress in China. Innovative mechanisms have been developed and implemented to achieve democracy. On February 5, 1980, the first Villagers Committee was democratically elected at Hezhai Production Brigade in the Sancha Commune, Yishan County, Guangxi Zhuang Autonomous Region. China's grassroots democratic process has thus ushered in a new era. This democratic initiative was immediately encouraged and supported by the central government. Village committees were officially included in the 1982 Constitution of the People's Republic of China and the 1987 Organic Law of the Villagers Committee. Since then, 900 million villagers across China have been empowered to elect their own leaders from among themselves every 3 years. The election has become the most important political event in rural China. People are becoming increasingly aware of their democratic rights and how to act on them. Self-administration of the villagers has proven highly effective, winning much accolade at the grassroots level. China's democratic process moves forward in a spiral of negations. A few years later, some of the elected village leaders began to betray their election promises, acting for personal interests. Democratic decision-making and administration became nothing but an empty shell, and dissatisfaction had arisen among villagers and the general public. Yet it is the villagers again that have found a smart way to defend their democratic rights. In April 2004, the abuse of collective land acquisition funds totaling nearly 10 million RMB was found in Hochen Village in Wuyi County, Zhejiang Province. The villagers called for an organization of their own to monitor village leadership and strengthen democracy. Their voice was heard by the local government. A village affairs monitoring committee was created, and 3 villagers were elected to be its members. As a standing organization independent from the Village CPC Committee and the Villagers Committee, the monitoring committee is directly responsible to the villagers. Within 1 month, over 200,000 RMB was saved in project costs, and the village's hospitality costs dropped from over 200,000 RMB each year to several thousand.
村里面的经济呢，就是乱吃乱喝的都有。在后来呢，有这个监管会成立以后呢，村里面呢现在开支呢，就是按照这个村财务的制度呢，现在呢就是没有其他的这些开支了。这个监管会呢，别的呢也还跟村干部一样，都要年终呢都要考核的呢。像哪个村干部做得好，哪个村干部做不好，也列入这个村干部里面的监管会里面。假如评到不合格的呢，分数就要扣下来，他们也麻烦的呢，他们工资都拿不到的呢。
The practices of Wuyi County was supported and widely promoted. In 2010, the revised Organic Law of Villagers Committee specified that all villages should establish a Village Affairs Monitoring Committee or similar supervisory committee. This is a significant breakthrough. In recent years, democratic elections, decision-making, governance, and supervision have been strengthened all over China. Over 98% of village committees are now elected directly by the villagers. In 2009, the National Village Affairs Coordination Group launched a campaign to improve governance of intractable villages. Problems found in those villages usually included unsound governing structures or incompetent leaders, no open or democratic administration of village affairs, tense relations between leaders and villagers, or falling behind in economic and social development. To date, over 13,000 targeted villages have benefited from this campaign. Like in rural areas, self-governance at the grassroots level in urban areas has also blazed new trails. A few years ago, residents at the Huangpu Xinyuan neighborhood of Shanghai were very unhappy with the design and location of the garbage collection chamber. To solve this problem, they created a joint council led by the neighborhood CPC branch with members from the Neighborhood Committee, Property Owners Committee, Property Management Company, Community Police, and residents. Following repeated discussions and negotiations, the Joint Council decided to transform the garbage collection chamber into an activity center for the elderly. This decision was well received by the neighborhood residents, and a waste compression station was built to handle their domestic garbage. Any problem encountered by residents can now be brought to the Joint Council for discussion and review. Now residents participate more actively in neighborhood activities and become increasingly self-governing. More neighborhood committees are now directly elected by residents. Fewer conflicts arise, and community life becomes more harmonious. This new governance mechanism, based on democratic consultation, is working effectively and boasts a promising future. Located in Zhongshan District, Dalian City, the Linhai community covers two neighborhoods, the Qingyuan Linhai and the Qingyuan Yingshan. In these two neighborhoods, the Neighborhood Committee, Property Owners Committee, and Property Management Company work together to provide better service.
他觉得我交了多少钱，你不管我交多少钱，我就要享受到最好的服务。实际上，物业公司在这已经就是做了很多的工作，也是由于他们宣传不到位。但是呢，是这样的，就是居民跟物业之间，当出现问题的时候，物业公司出头做宣传，去协调，居民会觉得你是带着物业公司企业的利益在跟我协调，他往往不接受。但是呢，他相信我们居委会，啊，很多事情他也愿意跟我们反映。所以呢，就是这个时候呢，就是感觉工作开展起来不顺畅。我是这样认为的，说现在就讲建这个和谐社区，怎么样能让居民真正跟你的关系融合到一块儿？那必须是我们进驻在社区为居民服务的这些组织，大家都能和居民形成一个整体。那我们都是不管是工作还是生活，都是在一个社区，大家的目标都是一致的，都是让家园更美好嘛。
每年我们开业主大会，报告工作。我从业主委员会这个一年的工作角度来向全体业主报告一年我们给大家维权为了些什么，做了些什么工作。那么同时也制度上规定，你这个物业的经理也要向大家报告工作，报告一年来你做了些什么。
More communities in China are becoming better integrated and fully functional service providers. By the end of 2011, there were 14,000 community service centers, 49,000 community service stations, and 85,000 other community service facilities in China. Community-level volunteer organizations totaled 289,000 with 31 million members across China. Community-level volunteer organizations are an indispensable part of China's social development and are playing an increasingly important role in regulating social order, providing public services, participating in social management, improving self-governance, and promoting non-governmental international communication. In recent years, civil affairs authorities have promoted policies to support and guide the development of community-based organizations, or CBOs. In the last half of 2011, a pilot program was launched in several provinces to provide direct registry services for CBOs involved in industry and commerce, charity, social welfare, and social services. In addition, a number of CBO supporting policies have been developed in terms of governmental function transfer, purchasing services, and tax preference. For example, on March 13, 2012, 200 million RMB was earmarked from the central budget to create a favorable environment for CBOs and their involvement in social services. By the end of 2011, 462,000 CBOs had been legally registered, and over 40,000 rural economic associations and over 200,000 urban CBOs had filed with civil affairs authorities, with the number of CBO workers totaling more than 12 million. A fully functional CBO system has been substantially established, providing a huge boost for China's modernization drive. Administrative division planning and toponym management are also crucial to social management. Pilot reforms and institutional innovation have been strengthened in this area. Improving and adjusting administrative division planning, promoting toponym management, and enhancing the building of peaceful border areas. Chinese people are traditionally willing to help those in need. The 2008 Wenchuan earthquake and other natural disasters triggered a new surge of charity efforts. Before 2005, China's charitable donations amounted to several billion RMB annually. In 2006, the amount grew to around 10 billion RMB. In 2008, after the earthquake, the total cash and in-kind donations reached over 107 billion RMB. And in 2010, total donations exceeded 100 billion RMB again. Welfare lottery plays an important role in China's charity development. The first welfare lottery started in China in 1987, with revenues reaching 10 million RMB that year. In 2011, China's welfare lottery sales reached 128 billion RMB, with the total accumulated sales amounting to 637 billion. It has so far raised 205 billion RMB for public welfare funds, benefiting more than 200 million people and creating over 400,000 employment opportunities. Welfare lottery has become an important fundraising and public participation channel. Of all resources, people are the most precious and valuable in boosting the development of welfare projects and the provision of social services. In recent years, China's civil affairs authorities have successfully trained over 200,000 professional social workers. It is expected that by 2015, the number of Chinese social workers will increase to 500,000, and by 2020 to 1.45 million, forming a new pattern of China's social work.
每次跟他们接触之后，或者是说觉得这个世界还是充满爱的，无论他们遭受多少不幸，但是还是有很多人会关心他们。
Millions of volunteers participate actively in natural disaster relief and reconstruction efforts. They are also frequently seen at a variety of national or regional major events, including the Beijing Olympic Games, the World Expo Shanghai, and the Guangzhou Asian Games. Currently, 620,000 volunteer organizations and volunteer service stations have been established in China, with over 60 million volunteers regularly offering their services. They have helped promote the image of China and all Chinese people. The past decade has witnessed the fastest development and historical breakthroughs in China's civil administration endeavors. As China progresses towards modernization, civil administration will play a more significant role in safeguarding people's livelihood, innovating social management, supporting national defense, and providing social services. China's civil administration will continue to promote social development and make greater contributions to the construction of a more prosperous, democratic, and harmonious China.